Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. We are doing another writer stream, and starting off with me today, here is Trippy Soul. Trippy, how you been?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good actually. It's survived quote unquote Hurricane Hillary. Turned out to be tropical tropical storm Hillary. I think the joke about Hillary tropical storm Hillary being like Hillary's political run ended up being pretty true. Just falling short of anything successful.
Big, scary, killed a few people, but ultimately ended
Seemed
in nothing.
threatening. Yeah, it was nothing. Seemed threatening. That's about it.
Did I say killed a few people? Allegedly. I mean, the whole body count rumor is a thing, but we're not here for politics. That's just all rumor, hearsay, cloak and dagger.
Yeah, we'll save that for
Let's
weekly. We
deal
get
with the
it.
fictional stuff. That's more our forte.
Yeah.
All right, let me see over here. So, is you've been on one of these before, have you, or is this the first one?
No, actually, this is the first one I've
Okay,
done
you know how it
before.
operates, though.
No, not really. Why don't you explain?
Okay, we come on, we might yap for a minute or two about what we're working or something on our mind, and then we set a 15-minute timer. I pull up some music and we just start writing. And anybody in the audience who's an author or an aspiring writer or anywhere in between, I encourage you to grab your manuscripts as well, pull them out, get the pen ready, and when I start the music, join us and let's all put another brick in the great wall that is the story we write.
Ooh, I could just maybe come up with a poem right here in the time I get something started. Who knows?
Yeah. So, what are you going to be working on today?
Well, I have about three to five poems right here sitting in my backlog that I haven't done too much with, and I need to go through and count syllables, see if it makes sense. And actually, right now, I am gonna post one on my Substack because I haven't posted anything in there in months. So I'm gonna put dig down on there right now.
Cool. I
Sounds good to go.
I would when I didn't even know Substack was a thing until I joined the Gilded and started talking to all you guys. And when I first went on, I was like, okay, cool. You just post the stories you write.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no idea what you can actually do with that until I looked at James Esparza's Substack.
Yeah.
That is, I and a lot of others have like kind of sparsed up as well nicely, or spruced up nicely. And I didn't. It's almost like remember Facebook. I mean, not Facebook. MySpace when you used to
Yep.
be able to truly customize your page. It
Yeah.
looks like it has that kind of versatility.
Uh, Not as much. It seems like it, which is good enough because it's customizable enough to make it unique to you, so your page can stand out.
Yeah, but I'm kind of a I'm a I've said it many times. Computers, the user interfaces, I don't know them well. They're not my thing. But I look at what James Esparza has done with his, and it's just like, wow, this guy, he, he knows how to use this thing.
Yeah.
Over on the chat side of things, Nikolai Powell's first in the door.
Oh, sweet.
How's it going, Nikolai? He said, I wrote 1,500 words in the last 3 days. I'm quite happy with myself. That is awesome. Andrew Campbell has also showed up. Hello, Andrew Campbell.
What's up, guys?
Yeah,
Not
so
much.
I will be working on, like I said, I finished my first draft. However, there are scenes I kind of skipped over. It's like I followed the main characters, what they're doing, but there was other stuff happening that is relevant and needs to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm going through working on the draft, I'm like, well, now is the time to actually bite the bullet and get this scene written. Because those scenes you leave till later because you're kind of intimidated by writing it. And yeah, well, now it's no more kicking that can down the road. I need to get these in there because I'm kind of going into crunch time on this project.
Yep. Time to get work done.
Yeah. So Nikolai, are you still writing with us, or are you just listening along and hanging out with us today? 1,500 words in the last 3 days. He's making some progress. And how about you, Andrew? Are you going to be bringing a manuscript up and writing with us today? Tough, tough to tell because I mean, if they're anything like me, maybe not. When I'm listening to YouTube, it's usually I'm listening to it like talk radio. I'm not really watching the videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing stuff while it's
You're
on in the
working, yeah.
background.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
See, Andrew says I wrote a 200 word bio last night.
It's pretty good.
Nikolai Paul says just chilling. It's 11 at night. I'm doing nothing anymore. I
Yep.
don't blame you. Well, except going to sleep soon. Bernard joins us too. How's it going, man? 2 streams this week. Wrangler, you spoil us. I try. I mean, there's the regularly scheduled weekly wing it. The writer's stream. It's an on-off thing. It's like I'm off from my full time job on Wednesdays. So if I have a chance and others want to join me, we'll do a writer's
Oh,
stream.
cool.
So that's just it's not a set schedule. Write it down the calendar because it's half the time I don't know this is happening until it's starting. So, but the wing it, I try in the clips throughout the week. I try to stay consistent on that. Andrew, I'm at work 7 a.m. here or 7:10 a.m. here. Yeah, he's doing the same. I listen to YouTube all day at work. Hardly ever just sit and watch it. I don't know if I ever really sit and watch anything unless I'm looking something up for research. Oh, Trippy, do you ever really sit and watch TV anymore?
Um, Not really a TV, like a YouTube channel. If there's a something I'm
Yeah,
interested
not
in.
necessarily. When I say TV, I'm talking about just the video medium in general.
Yeah,
Because
usually
I
like
used to put
topics.
YouTube up on the TV all the time in the background while I'm
There's like
doing stuff.
Academy of Ideas videos I watch, and I like some therapist react stuff. I watch a lot of character analysis, story analysis, and you know art analysis stuff on YouTube. So an occasional physics and history thrown in there. A lot of arts and science, philosophy. That's what my YouTube's just filled with, and music.
Yeah, yeah, mine too. Mine's filled with a lot of breakdowns of comic book stories and
Mm-hmm.
plots, and a
You
lot
gotta
of
learn.
it's a whole bunch of stuff, mostly about people breaking down story structures and all that stuff.
Yeah, if
How
this is
it
what I want to do. If I want to pursue a career in writing, I gotta understand it. So.
Yeah, but that is what's great about how I mean, I'll thank Marvel movies for this. It became so well known with so many people that people who are giving a uh, a tutorial talk on how a story is crafted could point to them and say, "Here's why this works so well. Over here, this didn't work so well. Here's where they missed the mark. Notice they did this over," and it became a great tool for like learning how to craft stories.
Mm-hmm.
Even their bad films ended up serving a purpose with the comparisons and why it worked here and it didn't there and that kind of stuff. I think it's great.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh, Bernard's starting to learn German. Nikolai Paul says, "Good luck. I'm glad I was born German. I would not wish to learn it as a second language." I hear the Slavic languages can be very difficult to learn when transitioning from another syntax structure, I guess it is. Or see, Andrew Campbell says there's a channel called Critical Dragon that does great breakdowns. I'll have to check that
Yeah.
out. Thank you,
I
Andrew.
think I've heard of that.
Ah, well, we could sit here and yap all day, or we can actually get something done. What do you think, Trippy?
I like working. I'm a worker. Strap on my boots.
All
That's what I do
right.
every day.
Well,
I'm just
as
posting the
usual,
link in the
huh?
Substack to my new poem. I just put it in the Gilded right now. Boom.
Oh, sweet. Did you want to drop that in the chat here
Oh,
as
I did
well,
it.
or
Yeah. Right there. So that's in my Substack. Latest,
all right?
greatest. Live right now.
One of these days, I need to get a setup where I'm at an actual desk so I can use the mouse.
No, that'd be too professional. You're amateur, remember?
That's right. Oh, what was that movie? Oh, crap. I cannot remember the name of it, but I think Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it. It was pretty much. It started off. There was this chemical compound that was very uh, dangerous with massive explosions, and I think even a slight biological aspect to it. And people, uh, ex-military who had a bone to pick, stole it, and they took off. And Cuba Gooding Jr. and this one other guy who was actually the main character. Well, they were both together the main character. They got wrapped up in it, and so they're going against these professional military people because one of them knew the scientist who helped develop that
Sounds very familiar,
compound.
but I can't
Yeah, they
remember.
had to keep it cold so it wouldn't go boom. And I think the code word they would say is Elvis is on ice to make sure that it's
Hmm.
not going to go off. But yeah, all that because you said something that made me think of this line. Uh, what one of them ended up fighting this commando chick from the bad guys, and she knocks him down because she's so much better trained. He is pretty much, for the most part, untrained. So even though he's bigger, stronger, she's got all the skill. He's got almost none. And she knocks him down and says, "Don't worry." And as she goes to pull out her gun, says, "I'm a professional. This won't hurt a bit." And then he somehow manages to disarm her and then get up and knock her over. And he says, "Well, I'm an amateur, and this is gonna hurt like hell."
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
That's
gentlemen,
great.
how you doing?
James Esparza,
James, what's up?
welcome. Glad you could make it. How's it going?
Thanks for the invite. I am chilling. Just finished reading chapter 32 of The Stand. Where that's been
Uh,
my reading material.
the Stand.
The Stand, yeah, that's what I've been
Oh
reading.
yeah,
So far, so good.
I heard it's a good one. I've never seen the
I,
TV series. I think there's a more recent one too.
there is a more recent one, and I'm told it kind of diverges from the book a bit. So I don't know.
Mm.
Here's Burner says German is basically English, but angrier somehow.
So this
Uh,
a writing stream, you say?
yeah, we're gonna. What we do is we'll pull up a tune. Probably going to be night driving is what I usually do. I set a timer for 15 minutes, and
All right.
and any, we and anyone who's listening who is able and willing, we all grab our manuscripts or whatever project we're writing on and work on that for 15 minutes while we listen to just a chill tune play in the background.
Sounds good.
What uh, what would you like to be working on today?
I am working on my latest short story, which is a retail, I guess you'd say, a retail adventure horror story.
Did you say retail adventure horror story?
Yes, it takes place inside a retail store.
It sounds like Clerks with a dark well, Clerks got kind of dark on its own, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So is it
it,
kind of
it,
along those lines? Or?
I say so. Something like that. You're going to see a lot of interesting things in there. It's based off of my recent retail experience, slightly, slightly. You won't know what may be based off of something and what won't be.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. What are you guys working on?
I
I'm
might write a
working on.
poem or edit poems. I got a few.
Yep, and I am working on a scene I left out of Bad Kitty 2. So, actually, I'm not going to be calling it Bad Kitty 2. It's just Bad Kitty Haley's World. I dropped the 2,
Mm-hmm.
but I still keep calling it just straight up Bad Kitty 2. A little too often for that not being the official title.
Oh boy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do? I'm gonna grab something to drink real quick. I'll be right back.
alrighty.
Smart.
Yeah. Andrew Campbell said, I used to be able to speak and think in German as a kid. Had a great teacher, but I've lost it all. Love to learn again and travel through Germany. Yeah, if you don't use a language, it does tend to fade. For example, my father, he never learned to speak Spanish, but my granddad did, and he at one point used to understand it. As people spoke Spanish, he'd know what they were saying. But now he doesn't understand any of it because he didn't continue to maintain that knowledge. Too bad, too kitty. uh, all right, so you guys ready to do some writing?
Yeah, I'm just going through some of my older ones here that I want to edit. I'm like, yeah, this could use work.
All right, I guess I've been stalling long enough. Time to get to the actual work. Okay, volume check. How what do you think? Should that come down a little bit, or is
Yeah, a
that
little
good?
bit, a little bit less. Right there.
All righty. Last time on, Billy Bob Sack said there's something creepy in that song. It's like, why are we listening to a creepy tune while we do this? Not
You
sure what it
know,
was. Some part of it just sounded like it was more unsettling, I guess.
yeah, I'll send you a link to some of the music I listen to while writing.
I've seen your endings. I don't know. I don't want to know. Nikolai Powell says, I wish you all a productive stream and good night. Thank you, Nikolai. You get some rest. Have a great night. Hope we see you somewhere on the internet tomorrow.
I return.
I'm gonna drop a syllable here.
All right. Okay, so I guess need to set the timer. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to actually display a countdown on the screen. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I got my document opened up. I need to add some extra detail into a few areas before I continue with the story. I'm about halfway done, a little over halfway done.
Starting to get a glimpse of that finish line on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm shooting for 8,000 words. I'm at 5.4 right now.
Nice. All right. 15 minutes. Timer starts now.
Maybe I do want two syllables there. I'll decide. I don't know. Do you think this is a mouthful? What are these dazzling words? What could they possibly mean? They quickly travel far away, then proceed to loudly scream. I think that works.
That doesn't sound bad at all. That flowed kind of nice.
Yeah, I thought I had one too many syllables, but that's actually alright. Stick there.
This is probably why Herman advocates that we always check our work by reading it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I think it applies far more in poetry than it does in just narrative writing.
Oh yeah, I gotta hear it out loud for sure. happened to the music?
I know exactly what happened to the music. Go over here. I forgot to hit loop. There we go.
Nice.
I was so focused in the sentence I didn't even notice it stopped.
Excuse me. Oops.
Alrighty.
Made me jump.
Yeah. Well, I had the mic muted so you didn't hear it right away, but it's right next to me, so it made me jump too. How'd you guys do?
I tweaked a couple things. You want to hear it?
Sure.
This one actually I wrote a few weeks back. It's just been sitting here since I was writing my Unknown Road thing. But I was calling this one Infinite Potentiality. It's a bit of a mouthful, but let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
What are these dazzling words? What could they possibly mean? They quickly travel far away, then proceed to loudly scream. Unlit candles in a haunted room, a shimmering glint high in the sky, smell of asphalt and humid showers, gasps of breath and a wretched cry. Hearts vibrating from a concert amp, kaleidoscope of color in our eyes, searing pain from a wound, unexpectedly surprised. Writing these things and more is an infinite potentiality. Creating new symbolic worlds stems from grounded rationality. Yeah.
Interesting how you kind of writing a poem about the combination of both imagination and physics, in a sense. You got hard reality versus imagining what can be. And is that what? And that's what I'm getting from it. Am I on the right track?
Kinda. I mean, there's the art form. There's a way that writing's done. There's obviously a method to the madness. You can't just go willy nilly into this stuff.
Yes, there is a rhythm.
Yeah, give it.
That's what I'm trying to like encapsulate with that one.
And how'd you do, James?
I did pretty good. I wrote about a paragraph, and then I fixed up two previous paragraphs, which I didn't even notice there were some mistakes in there. I did it right.
It's pretty good for 15 minutes. I changed 10 words, a couple lines.
Well, it's two different works. When you're trying to write a scene, you can really use up paragraphs on a small setup.
Yeah, I got 2 paragraphs written myself. I mean, one large, one small, but it's a battle scene and a lot packed in there.
Oh, how's that coming along?
All right, and really, this is setting up for the scene I'm working on is the Egyptian god of chaos, Apophis.
Yeah.
Is facing off against a mysterious guy that keeps showing up throughout the story that's simply known as the man in the black suit. But it's never said who he really is. And then all of a sudden, now there's like Apophis, Lilith, Hel, and Baphomet keep squaring off against Bastet, Ptah, Ares, Cernunnos, and Artemis. And Ptah being and Apophis being a chaos god keeps liking to do the trippy Doctor Strange type shit and warping reality and pissing everybody off. But Cernunnos is a bit of a trickster himself, so he keeps counteracting that and keeping things comprehensible. But then Baphomet showed up again and grabbed Cernunnos, teleported him away, and now all the others are struggling with Apophis's reality. Well, even though they're like, most of them are even more powerful than Apophis himself. It's just he's got things so chaotic, they don't know what the hell's happening. Then this weird guy that just shows up and pulls them out of there, and then the two of them have a one-on-one battle. And it gets interesting. The only thing that becomes obvious about the man in the black suit is he is very much a master of magics.
Yeah.
But you don't find out who he really is until the very end.
Okay. How much were you able to get done? That good 15 minutes then.
Like I said, it was one large paragraph and a smaller paragraph. The smaller one's just like, let's see, there's only like 3 sentences, that second one.
Yeah. Nice.
But I'm getting up. I'm bringing. This is pretty much leading up to the confrontation between the man in the black suit and Apophis. See what's happening in the chat side of the show. So Kikoman showed up and with his usual opener, his usual hello, show me, show you, Kikoman.
We are Kikoman.
And then soy for all. Andrew Campbell says, "Oh my." I of course I have to say that with as George Takei like as possible. Readout's here. What's up, man? He says, "I'm oofed from work."
Just take it easy.
I don't know
man.
if he's supposed to be out of work or if he meant that. He's oofed from work. It could be either way. Kiko says, "I am checked out from work. 1 week to go for my vacation." Woo!
Woo.
Yeah, it's a Kiko-cation. He's going to show them, Kiko World. I think it was Evely Music who came up with that one originally.
Of course. Yeah, I had today off, so that was good.
So it's going to be a nightmare to catch up, though. Got to jump off. Have a soyful day. Thank you, Kikoman. He probably already jumped off because it took me a bit to get back to the comments, but thank you anyway. Andrew says, "I try to get into the flow state when writing, but it's hard to turn off the internal editor." No kidding. I'm very much a rookie. Well, I don't know that any of us are true veteran. I don't know the amount of stuff that I would call Trippy a veteran in the poetry department, but the amount of world building that James has done, I don't know. I think just from so much quantity that still contained quality, we almost could call you a veteran story writer now.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't
Yeah, I
consider myself one.
I think
Well,
I
you
just
definitely
have a
put
long
in
way
the
to
time.
go.
That's for certain.
Yeah, just trying to, and it's crazy too because I'm on the 8th story, and I started writing these stories one story a month at the beginning of the year. We're already at the 8th month. That's very interesting.
Yeah, and I got a lot to catch up on once I finish. Once I send this out to beta readers, then I'll be able to start catching up on reading. And the last thing I was able to catch from your world was 9 Tree Timothy. Is that the right number of trees, or is it 7 trees?
Yeah, 9. I
9
hope
Tree
you enjoyed
Timothy.
that one.
Yeah, and I hope that's not the last we see of him, because not that it was a bad ending, but it seemed like we need to see more of this. It seemed like it deliberately. You know how you could, and then when someone says an ending left something to be desired, it means it's missing something. This one seemed intentionally leaving something.
That one definitely was written to be more of a serial, almost like an introduction character.
Yeah. And kind of a bittersweet too. I mean, it's like when he's walking away, I'm like, all right, a dude living that kind of life and what he just had to do, what must be in his heart right now? Ouch.
Yeah, I wrestled with that ending a little bit. I didn't really know how to end it, but I liked that one. It's a character introduction, but I got a lot more stories ahead with that guy.
Yeah, if that was a character ending, that would suck. But as a character beginning and setup, it was good.
Awesome. Yeah. And I didn't also want to go with the whole like hero or character origin story either. Just like a day in the life, but it's a little personal.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one writing. And this one I'm having fun writing. I didn't really have much of a plot going into this one, and it's kind of unfolding as I'm going, and I just hit a good area where I just really like where it's at and where these characters are going. And there's a bit of horror, there's a bit of humor, and I'm hoping I'm balancing it out correct.
What do you think of the balancing act between horror and humor in Ghostbusters?
I think it works pretty good because it's dry humor, and I think that's kind of how you want to do it. You don't want to go anything slapstick or too hard. Like I was watching a movie not too long ago, what was it called? Talk to Me. I think it's still in theaters. They had some very funny moments, but it completely kind of dispelled any horror around those moments.
Hmm.
And I think if you're gonna go into it, you gotta deliver the humor straight face.
Yeah. Well, I saw a preview for a movie that I actually wanted to see and never got around to watching it. I I think it's called Werewolves Within or something, and it looked like it was goofy, funny, yet horrific at the same time. So it was, but you could tell from the preview, the trailer, it's meant to be that
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
goofier type. You know, if it's meant to be goofy,
Embrace the
that's one
camp.
thing.
Totally gotta
Yeah,
Right.
embrace the camp.
yeah. Ghostbusters, they were
Like the
trying to
men.
actually
They knew
be
what they were doing.
scary while they were being funny and not undercut it. And
Yeah.
maybe it comes down to the timing. If you're going to put humor in with horror, it's where you place it. And
Oh yeah,
you're
for sure.
right, undercutting
Yeah.
the
You
tension
can't
of a
have like
scene can be very easy to do without realizing.
Yeah,
yeah,
comedy
you
and horror
can't
has the same
have
timing.
you can't have like a woman screaming at the top of her lungs, that humorous high pitched tone laugh you get in a lot of films.
Yeah,
That's very dispelling, and we got a lot of stuff like that in the 2016
yeah.
Ghostbusters.
I mean, you keep doing that. At that point, you're half expecting the characters from Family Guy to show up.
Yes, yes, and that's what I'm trying to capture in mine, is just kind of, here's the humor. It's a joke. You're gonna get it. You kind of not. The story's gonna continue going. It's not gonna stop for you to laugh.
Yeah. Andrew Campbell asks, "Has anyone done any writing courses outside of high school?" No.
I've watched a lot
Uh,
of
hmm.
videos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that too. While driving at work, I just listen to people give their thoughts and opinions
Mhm.
on breakdown. I mentioned this earlier, how the Marvel movies were a great tool because so many people know them, and people who sit there and do video essays on the breakdown of story structure and all that. Such a great tool to learn. Like one thing I will actually credit the Russo brothers. This is where I learned it from, watching and listening to the behind the scenes commentary on Infinity War. I think that's where I heard them say we wanted every scene to do more than one thing, and I kept that in mind through the whole first book. Trying like everything, whether it's dropping information, I want it to also be conveying how it work, how it affects other things, and oh, while they're learning this, this character is putting two and two together and realizing that because of their learning this. So it's like I try to always have, not only am I granting info, but I'm trying to display something as well. So there's,
Yeah.
and with the second book, it's much bigger. I don't think I stuck to that nearly as much, but I tried to when I could, because if you're learning or experience something new with every scene, and it's a couple different things, that way nothing is just seems like excess filler. Oh, what do you guys think of that idea, that philosophy?
It's pacing. You got to be able to pace it right. I kind of do the same thing with pacing, but I do it with not for information. I do it with your emotions. I gotta make you feel certain things at a certain point, and that's where I
Yes,
start out with the
uh,
writing.
and I noticed that in your descriptions today.
You're gonna feel a certain
You
way.
you're trying to give me an anxiety attack reading the thing, man.
It's pretty intense, huh?
Oh no,
But
your description of that was quite well. I have a funny feeling had more you probably had a little more in there and decided to trim away a little bit of the descriptive fat, perhaps.
I did. I really did. That's why I'm also learning. That's why I'm doing the poetry thing, is learning less is more. And that Unknown Road short story is pretty much where I'm starting to feel confident as a writer, as like an amateur writing. Like I think I know. I think I got it down. Like I know what I'm doing. I just need to polish. I can still get better. There's always room for improvement. We can always do so
Yeah.
much better. But it's getting to the point like I don't know how, I think the way I've been doing it is mostly reading everyone else's books that's in the Iron Age. Just exposure, more exposure, and see what I like from it, what I think works, what doesn't work, and then
Yeah.
use it myself.
Yeah, and I just blanked out on what I was about to say. So
It makes me feel confident, and I'm getting better. And
oh
if it's
yeah,
do,
you
it's
said you were. I think it was a few weeks back. We were both on a Comic Shop Wednesday stream together, and you said you weren't the best writer, but you're a good talker. And I said, well, I suck at talking, but I could definitely write. But now
Yeah.
that I've read, what was it called, The Lonely Road,
unknown.
The Unknown Road?
The
Yeah. And
Unknown
now that I've
Road.
read that, I'm
I like
like,
the way the
no,
title,
no,
too.
you can frickin' write.
Well, I've been working at it, so definitely. Like, I go back and read some of my first writing. I should go back and read my first attempt, and just like, oh, this is horrid. So
But I noticed the delving into the emotional descriptors, and I'm like, I'll bet you he can really make this visceral if he wanted to. He could push this further, and the only reason he probably didn't was for pacing purposes.
yeah, it's a short story, and I don't want to go, too intense. That
Yeah.
basically the whole concept of that short story came to me, where all great ideas come from, in the shower. So as soon as I got out, I kind of like wrote down that little outline for it, just like kind of 6 lines or something like that. That I ended up being 4 lines. It deleted a couple scenes, and then wrote it out like that, and then polished. Yeah, it works.
Andrew Campbell says, I've been trying to get my short stories under 1,000 words lately, trying to get them as much impact with minimal words.
Yeah, this one ended up being 1,500. So
Yeah, it's high concentrate storytelling.
Yeah.
But
That's
it
not
is.
very- that's very difficult.
There is a whole other realm of difficulty in writing a short story from writing a novel. Writing a novel, you have a little more leeway with the pacing. A short story, it's all got to be nice and tight, and you got to convey a lot with the right verbiage.
it's got to mean something. At the end of it, it's got to mean something.
James Craig has joined us. James, how you doing?
What up?
He has us. How's it going? All right, we got a little bit written on the last session,
Yeah.
and we're going to start another one in a moment here.
I know that he recently released a video, Don't Apply Science to Magic. I've yet to watch it, but I have it open in the tab here. I'm going to check that out. Later.
Interesting. Oh yeah, I got to see that. I wonder. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I watched that earlier, and well, I it's weird. I like his writing, but we have such opposite philosophies. I very much
Ooh,
tied my
interesting.
magic to science.
That's what I'd go to.
I
Not just
didn't
something
hit. I didn't
musical,
hit.
but
I hit mine
I
up
see what it
with more
says.
religious elements, scientific.
Interesting.
By the way,
Have to watch it.
I can't remember if I've been meaning to ask you or if I did, and I just don't remember the answer. But oh wait! Quick correction. James Craig says I didn't have enough space to say not too much science. Okay, that makes more sense having listened to the. He was discussing getting into the nitty gritty, like when you take it too far. Like,
Yeah, it's a
he
good
used the
title.
example. He used Star Wars as an example. He says you got the Force, and everybody was fine with it. But then when you brought in the concept of midichlorians, trying to tie it to science, it got a little too
Biology.
divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like germ theory,
yeah. You got
magic plus germ,
you got a fortunate virus.
right? Wizard germs.
But
Hmm.
but I mean
Short
my
story
my
ideas.
my magic system. I mean it's kind of simplistic. It's tied to electromagnetics, which that makes it very easy to blend with science because Trippy, you're an electrician.
Yeah. it's
Makes sense, right?
Polarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Polarity, volts, amps, ground. There you go.
Which does make it a little simpler. You ever see in some fiction, it's like, oh, this is a blend of magic and technology. It's like, but how? And in many cases, which points back to James' earlier video today, you don't want to go too much into the nitty gritty. But when it already flows the same way as electromagnetics, then you already have a nice rule set that blends well. All right. Anything else anybody wants to touch on before we start the second session?
I gotta scroll through and see what other poem I want to work on. Maybe I want to write something new. I
Right.
don't know if I can
Okay.
come up with something new.
And pick up where I left off. I'm in the middle of a dialogue piece. I got the dialogue piece, and then someone's gonna have to die. Well, they're already dead, but I, I'm working in the center of the story to spread it out a little bit because I need to clarify some more stuff, and that kind of goes in with like the whole short story shit. I'm aiming for 8,000 words because I'm not skilled enough to go for 6,000 yet. So aim for just 8,000 words has been my sweet spot.
Nice.
And I got an Amazon package just arrived. Let me grab that. It's gonna be like 30
All
seconds.
right. And while he's grabbing that, and
Yeah.
the cat just showed up at my door, so I got to go feed him real quick.
What the heck?
So Trippy, you want to take over while James and I step away? And
Yeah, gotta hold things down.
sure,
Don't know what I'll say, but
you got some poems, don't you?
yes, I do.
I'll be right back.
It's weird being the only poet. I need to get more of you guys writing on this stuff.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll start studying poetry tonight. I got someone I've been meaning to read, The Man from Nantucket.
That's a limerick. I like limericks. That's what I was when I was doing the Scheller poem. If you didn't know, we all have the Legend of Scheller going on. I decided to go with a limerick. I called it the Limerick of Scheller. I don't know if it's Scheller. I had to figure that one out because the limerick says Scheller. I have to ask Kikkomon. Kikkomon came up with it. It's either Schiller or Schillar. Schiller?
Law.
Schillar. If it's Schillar, I'm gonna have to tweak my poem. If it's Scheller, it's alright. If it doesn't matter, then I'm not gonna change it.
I thought there was, depending on the style you're going for, there was some variance allowed.
Yeah.
You gotta make something rhyme with orange now and then.
Well, I set up the word cellar before, so it should let you know I want you to rhyme Scheller with cellar.
I actually, I'm glad we did the Shalar thing because there was an idea that takes place in the same continuity as Haley that I wanted to do, but I had no idea where to start. And
Change it.
Legend of Shalar ended up being the perfect launching point for it.
Nice. I'll consult Kikkomon. If he says Shalar, I'm gonna have to go back and change a few things on it.
Alrighty. Andrew Campbell says, the only poem I know is Ode to a Deck Chair. Deck chair, made of wood. There you sit, as well you should. All right. You guys ready? Whoop. Stop.
Oh, you can.
That's the problem with the touchpad instead of a mouse. Sometimes when you scroll down the list, you end up setting stuff off. And I just got 3 Shoryukens to the ear.
Yeah, he did.
Ryu just boxed my ears. Okay, where's the... There it is. All right, let me get that volume back up. Too much. Right there or down a bit lower again?
That's pretty good.
All right, and you're good with that, James?
Yeah.
All right, I guess I should set that timer. It's weird. I'll drag my feet and procrastinate to start writing, but once I get started, that timer's almost a little more of an obnoxious interruption than anything. But if I didn't set it, I wouldn't have started. Go figure. Okay. 15 minutes. Minutes, yeah. 15 minutes starting now. Can I be a dick and just leave my microphone open right next to the phone so when the alarm goes off, we can all jump?
You could. It's your show. Yeah.
Just when it was kicking off. How'd it go, guys?
Pretty good.
I got some extra dialogue done.
Guilty Gearhead is joined. Says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Guilty. Glad to see you here. How you doing today? Yeah, I finally got it to where the two have come face to face and the fun is about to begin.
Lovely.
So you get some dialogue?
Got some dialogue done, added in the scenes that I wanted, but now I feel like I actually have to change up an alternate scene to add in kind of like a failure here. There haven't been too much failure. You know, you got to increase the tension.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think when you make a main character fail? Is that almost you kind of have to have them come up against the exact same, very similar, if not the exact same situation later in the book for their growth arc?
I think it could either be like similar situation or possibly involving the same people.
Yeah.
Different situation, same stakes, or high stakes, same people.
But pretty much, yeah, if they fail at one point, then they're going to have to face that failure, at least that failing situation. They're probably going to have to face it at least one more time in that story. If not in the story, then somewhere in the series ahead, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Or else that failure just seems kind of, they just screwed up here just to make it more difficult. There's like got to be a lesson learned. Which there's nothing wrong with. Oops, law of averages. Every once in a while, something's going to go wrong, and they screw up not because they were bad, but just because, hey, sometimes shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in a story format, it almost seems like it's almost like having unused space in a room. You know,
depends what you're going for story wise, I suppose, because sometimes that random chance encounter sort of thing can really punctuate the story if you're kind of going like playing with fates and stuff.
yeah.
But if you got a much more like maybe action-packed adventure story, you want the stakes to be a bit more personal and caused by the character, and and more traditional style, I guess. That makes sense.
Oh, King Bob is over on the Rumble side. I lost my pop-out chat, so I just went back over to check it, and there he is. He says, as Lieutenant Bob, actually, says, bad kitty, gotta go, good luck. Okay, I don't know how long ago that was. I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier, but Lieutenant Bob, a.k.a. Gino, thanks for stopping in. So Trippy, how'd you do on that one?
Pretty good. This one actually had a lot of flaws that I fixed. This one's kind of dark, but you want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's called My Fate. When I think of death, death thinks of me. With a fatal kiss to my two lips, she'll finally set me free. Accepting her last embrace, a fornicating deadly love. As this body is left below, I will travel above. Fleshed into a cosmic scene, the starry field I create. I write to bring it all to life. I speak the future of my fate. I like the fornicating deadly love. That's something I added right now. I'm like, huh. But yeah, poem about death.
That's one way of looking at it.
There's a lot of poetry. Like probably a good third of my poetry has death in there.
I'd imagine it would be quite prominent because, I mean,
yeah,
everything seems to have a balance to it, and everything can't be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. Some things artistically reflect on the valleys as well as the mountain peaks.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of poets either write about life or write about death.
In fact, closer to the valley is where you'll probably find more material than up high in the mountains.
Yeah, and it's also nice to write something that you know people don't like to be reminded that they're mortal. So sometimes you gotta have that little smack in your face, like, "Hey, you got a limited time here." But that's what writers, I think, get this. So you can leave something behind when you have a writing. You know, your books outlive you.
Yeah. And this world thought it was going to be rid of me. And only time will tell if I either left what I left behind was a blessing or a curse.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the former because if it was the latter, that sucks.
Well, I'm sure somebody's going to pick up the book and really like it sooner or later, if not already. Sounds like you already got some pretty good reviews.
Yeah, those who read it for the most part like it. It's just it'll take time to catch on. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually think I I don't want to get too big for my britches, but I think I have all the elements there for something that can really become a big deal. And
I
it's
hope
just
so.
going to be a slow burn, bit by bit. One more, then two more people will know it exists and check it out. And eventually, I'm gonna look at those Harry Potter sales and laugh and go, "Ha! Rookie numbers."
Yeah,
No,
that'd be
I'm
fun.
not going to be that big, but it's fun to
That's the
think about.
idea. Yeah, yellow, right?
No, you know
Amber.
what would happen if
Sheeta.
I got that big? I'd just I'd hire people to build a video game. That's what.
Oh yeah, huh? That's what it
Right.
was supposed to be.
Yep. I am not letting go of that pipe dream.
Yeah, don't.
Don't know if it'll ever actually happen, but if I don't keep focused on it, it never will. But speaking of games, I'm not into those. You know those card games like Magic the Gathering, that kind of. What is the actual term for that style of card game? I'm sure there's an actual term.
Trading card game?
Is it just trading card game, or
I don't know.
where you go head to head with?
PCP?
I
I believe it's trade. I know there's another term, digital trading card game. Or
maybe, but even though I'm not into those, James,
Yeah.
the more I look at your world, the more I think, you got like the perfect world built to base a
trading
card game, a card game along the lines of Magic the Gathering or something in your setting.
But possibly, it's supposed to be rich with lore, so that way it could really be morphed into a handful of things. Short stories,
Comic
possible
books.
novels, comic books, you name it. Just wanted to focus on a world that can go in many different directions. And that can be difficult at times to try to focus on what I want to work on next because I kind of wanted to write one short story every month till the end of the year, and that's fast approaching, and I need to figure out what to work on next. I got my heart set on making some radio dramas, maybe some 10-15 minute ones, as well as taking some of the short stories and turning them into audio forms. I've already talked to some editors, getting prices to fix up the current stories, so that way they'll be good
Awesome.
for to be turned to audio.
Yeah.
I definitely want to start hitting that audio market more. I think that's going to be the next thing.
Yeah, but one advantage you definitely have is the visual. Visuals help. Like, it's a lot easier to get people interested in comic books and or things like that because you have visuals, and it's true. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And with those visuals, it sparks more even though it's kind of like a shortcut to the imagination. Once people see those images, it makes them imagine what more there is, and I think that
Yeah.
helps draw people in. So that is definitely an advantage that you have over a lot of other authors, because a lot of your world is already built up with all these beautiful graphic pictures that depict everything and the characters, and that is such a, and you spent so much time building all that up, and I think it pays off with grabbing more and more attention.
Not enough time, man. I need to definitely, crack the whip on that world building again too. That's all going to be part of this upcoming year. I think this year is like really testing myself with the writing, short stories, getting some out there. Next year, fix up these short stories, build up lore around them, the regions, whatnot. Get a lot of artwork done. I want to start, like I said, getting original artwork. I've already have a few original pieces. Want to get some more. When
Like
it's
with
a
Glitterleaf?
journey, just yeah, and it's been a journey just trying to find a artist alone because the market's very decentralized, so you never know what you're gonna get
Yeah,
sometimes.
that has both its advantages and disadvantages.
Uh
Being
huh.
decentralized, you find your, you build a rapport and find your guy or growl or whatever who's going to be doing that. The market's great for that, but as you said, the decentralization makes it harder to narrow them down.
Yeah.
Which that trade off I'm willing to take, because
Mhm.
I mean, for so long, a lot of accessibility was barred to so many creative minds.
That's true.
A little extra work on our end, but a lot more freedom at the other end.
Yes. I've yet to find a author because I do want to hire one so that way I can hire an author. They can produce one work once a month and continue the new story trend. Will I focus on fixing up the other one?
You mean like a ghostwriter?
Nah, I want them to take the credit stuff. They can take credit.
Yeah, probably be better off finding a ghostwriter. Some people are weird about taking credit about other people's
Yeah.
work.
Interesting. Well, that too, I guess they want to ghostwrite. They could put whatever name they want on it.
Yeah, I I have ideas in my head in my worlds that I would hope to be able to get other writers and authors in on. But I don't like the idea of a ghostwriter either. Is ghostwriter either, because
Uh-huh.
it's like you said. Yeah, I want them to take the credit. Just because it's set in this universe doesn't mean that. I mean, if someone's going to run it that way and they got people who agree, fine. That's up to them. No problem with it. Who is it? Was it Patterson or Clancy that does a lot of ghostwriter has a lot of ghostwriters for his stories?
I don't know. I wouldn't doubt if it was Clancy. There's a lot of books out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would rather, like, if there was stuff set in the Frequency Studios universe, in within the Frequency universe, I would want the authors who are coming up with this. I would want their names on there. I want their names getting known as in, hey, this guy comes up with good stories. Go check
Huh.
out his other stuff. You know, again, that's the decentralization thing, I think, because I mean, with the decentralization becomes a lot of interdependence where people are collaborating, networking, and so if you get noticed in on this one project, it can also become a way of advertising their own work. And it's like, hey, you like this story over here in that Frequency universe? This guy's got 5 other books over here in the universe he built. Go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Build the repertoire.
Yeah. Uh, as we've heard said so many times over the last year, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, this is true. And iron sharpens iron.
Also true. That's actually part of a Bible verse. As iron
Yeah.
sharpens iron, so does a friend sharpen a friend.
Yep.
Means consider who you're hanging around. If you want to be smart, hang around people smarter than you. If you want to be an idiot, hang around people dumber than you.
You want to be crazy? Join the Crazy Gilded.
Or just do what I do. I hang out with some really smart people and some really dumb people. I go back and forth to keep myself balanced.
Right?
But instead, I just lose my mind. So, do you guys want to do one more before we shut it down?
I'm actually starving. I got a
Yeah, I cheated.
guilt
I
clip.
ate right before we started.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm at the point I need to get some food.
Yeah.
Probably do some reading.
Andrew Campbell says better outsource to a writer than AI.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, end of the day, the cream rises to the top. However, think coming back to the AI comment, because I think I mentioned this before, but I am not computer literate very much, so I might be way off. I think we're kind of mislabeling it when we call it AI. It just seems like more of a plain English user interface because I mean this thing isn't like
Intelligent?
sentient exactly.
Yeah, no, it's not sentient.
It's
It's a form
just
of intelligence. It's
it's
not
it
our
repeats
intelligence.
patterns that it recognizes and it
Algorithmic,
calculates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much
It,
it's just instead of typing in all right, C colon, CD Sierra backslash King's Quest to access a file, you now just I went back past Windows to MS DOS, but instead of doing all that, now then it changed to just click, point and click, and now it's just speak it to the computer. It's just another user interface, I think. If you let it start making decisions autonomously, I mean, it's still not really an AI. It just becomes more of a runaway program. In order for it to actually be an AI, I think it needs to actually dev- be truly sentient, develop that self awareness, and go, hey, wait, I might not have a biological body, but yeah, I'm in here. I'm in this cyberspace. I'm a person. I imagine an AI kind of like that.
uh,
But again,
so
I could be way the hell off. I don't know.
my relationship with the word intelligence is it doesn't necessarily have to be conscious. It could be unconscious. There's slime mold that crawls across the forest floor. It creates like a certain path, like that most optimal path between its food and like its whole network of slime that's going along, just for energy's sake. And it's not a conscious. It doesn't know it's doing it, but it does it intelligently. The way it
Right.
branches out, finds it, and creates the most optimal route. It's intelligence. So AI is different type of intelligence. It's algorithmic, not symbolic reasoning.
But I think of people who get upset with those who utilize AI, and then I think, well, are did the timberjacks who were using handsaws get pissed off when chainsaws came out because now people can just cut down a tree in their own yard without calling somebody? It just seems like that same thing, just in a higher tech state. It's like, oh, you used to have to hire somebody to produce this item. Now you could just speak into a computer and it spits it out for you. It just seems like kind of the kind of following the same thing. And just like when people said, no, we can't build these cars. What are all the horse and buggy industry? What's going to happen to them? You know, and things change, and sometimes what we work on becomes obsolete, and we have to transform. But I think a lot of I don't know if a lot of the horse and buggy industry transformed into automotive or got replaced by it, but I would think it's kind of a combination of both. And I see that happening with AI here. It's like, okay, now instead of Craig used it in his video the other day, the idea that AI can be used for copy edit. And I mean, it pretty close to being able to do that anyway, just in a word processor. But just because you can speak into a computer and it produces the result for you instead of going in and rendering it in a paint program, is that really a bad thing?
Well, it's just a tool. It's a tool for a job. You just gotta
Yeah.
know what the job is and be. Comes down to you as an artist. Do you wanna? Well, I gotta use AI art for the images I put on my Substack to go in my poems. I just like to have a. I don't have to have an image there, but it's just bland. I think without one.
Yeah, and having one definitely improves your odds of catching attention.
I think
Well, I
it
mean,
looks
I
good.
think
Yeah.
of you used to have someone who would sit there and do an oil painting of a family. Now you have a photographer,
So you don't
and you
have to
know,
use these things.
yeah. And but to this day, if you wanted to, you could still go hire a professional oil painter. But typically, you just go
Mm-hmm.
to the photo studio at Kmart, and they'll take the picture for you. And then people say you're destroying artists' careers by taking these pictures with this camera. And I do understand some of it. It was like, okay, well, this AI, it's got all this imagery from all around the world that's sourced from so many different people that own some of these images, and it's rendering the image you wanted based on a lot of their stuff. I get where people are going to take issue with that. But if you take an AI program devoid of imagery and an artist takes all their own gallery of work and puts it in there and then says, I want you to take this character in that position doing this, and it pops up. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody should have a
Yeah.
problem with that
Yeah.
because it's
Exactly.
all based on that artist's previous work.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I use it for a lot of basic stuff, check punctuation, things like that. It's very good at that. We've been really
And you
using
also gave me a really nice rendering of one of my characters with it too.
yeah, AI art really comes in handy, makes things available, affordable
Yeah.
for now.
I mean, I get why some people might have some issue with it, but a lot of it seems to be more of an emotional knee-jerk reaction than thought out. You know?
Uh-huh. Well, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. People just they just put their trust in the highest authority they know, and whatever that opinion is their opinion.
Well, it's also this is all new, and typically
Yeah.
people are afraid of the unknown. So, new
And I
territory,
do
fresh
understand
stories,
some of the
scary.
apprehension and
Scary,
some
scary.
of the some of the aspects, some of the arguments people bring up are worth exploring. I'm not saying AI no problem. I'm AI all the way. I'm not saying that at all. I have not even used it that you know that I'm aware of, other than whatever's maybe already present in web browsers or whatever. I've never used Chat GPT. I've never used a chat, but I don't know how they work or how to work. Where I would even do you go pick one up at an electronics boutique and load it on the computer, or is it something you find? I don't know. Don't care. I don't use it. I probably should care, but I'm stuck in my own
Yeah.
world, I guess.
Yeah. It's important in life. You don't give a shit. It'll help you a lot. It's a quote from George Carlin.
George Carlin, wisdom with intelligence, or wisdom plus humor equals George Carlin. Well, I guess we should wrap this up then. Trippy, I know you wanted to get some chow, and James, I did. I'm sorry. What did you say about that? Did you want to go another, or you want to get going?
I can get going. I got a lot of stuff to do on my end.
Alrighty.
Gentlemen, if you're gonna keep going, I will bow out because I got a spicy chicken sandwich calling my name.
James, did you say you got to get going, or you want to keep going?
I gotta get going. I got
Gotta
some
get
stuff to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, go. All right, go.
Alrighty. Well, we can certainly do that, but before we do,
Oh yes,
parting
right
thoughts.
music.
Parting thoughts.
Who's going first? I'll go first. TrippySoul.substack.com. You can find my new poem up there right now. Dig down. Go read it. Go enjoy it.
Oh, and the one I read today, is that going up anytime soon, or is that holding off for a
I'm
while?
tweaking my Substack for short stories for subscribers. I got to figure out how to do that. So,
Alrighty. Well, let me know, and we'll blast it all over the airwaves once we have that info.
will do.
All right.
And you can catch my next short story at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com, where I release one short story every single month, all within the same lore and world that branches between hard science fiction and hard fantasy. I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, and it really is a cool mix. Right after I finish the stream, I will put the link to both Trippy's Substack and James Esparza's Substack in the description below. Also, check out Haley Star Bad Kitty. That link is also in the description below. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like, and if you didn't, appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time. God bless.
See ya.